In today's video, I'm going to be talking about gluten-free living for the whole family. Now, if you're able-bodied and you have celiac disease or a gluten intolerance, then living a gluten-free lifestyle can still be tricky. Now, if you have children with gluten intolerance or celiac disease, or perhaps a senior who's not quite as able-bodied as they once were, then the whole situation becomes very, very challenging. Hi, I'm Mike Hines from JustKnowGluten.com, creator of this channel, Gluten Advice. And if you like the content, you like the video, why not give it a like or subscribe to my channel. Also, hit the notification bell down the bottom and stay up to date. We post videos on here 3 times a week, Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. So do check back from time to time. We'd love to see you. Right, let's get straight into the content. If you're able-bodied and able to look after yourself, gluten-free living is still very testing. However, if you're unable to do so, it becomes even harder than ever. Take children, for example. They're unable to buy and prepare their own food, so they rely on either their parents or guardians. A child with a gluten sensitivity will require even more care and attention. Pensioners, or seniors as they like to be called, are perhaps not as able-bodied as they once were. They will also need catering for if they're unable to consume gluten. Now, it may be a bit of a challenge at first, but once you've got the hang of it, preparing food for family members, young and old, who cannot consume gluten will actually be a breeze. In this video, we are going to give you some tips on keeping the family living gluten-free. Tip number 1, very important, always wipe down surfaces. Whether it's a chopping board or a kitchen work surface, when you prepare food of any kind, always wipe down the work surfaces once you're finished. Use a good quality antibacterial cleaner along with hot, soapy water. Tip number 2, always prepare gluten-free food separately. Now, this might sound like a bit of a hassle, but gluten-free meals should always be prepared separately to irregular meals. Again, this is largely to avoid cross-contamination. Even if you are sure you're adequately cleaned up, you should never prepare a gluten-free meal directly after a regular meal. Very important to remember, be very strict when it comes to cross-contamination. Cross-contamination is one of the biggest headaches when it comes to preparing gluten-free meals. Wiping down food preparation surfaces is a good start, but you also need to be wary of the clothes you use, the knives, chopping boards, any place where the food is being stored, and much more besides. And the same goes for your pots and pans. If your budget allows you, it is best to purchase separate chopping boards, cloths, knives, cutlery, oils, pots and pans, and use them exclusively for gluten-free meals. This way you reduce the chances of cross-contamination. Tip number 3, store gluten-free ingredients in a separate cupboard. That's a very useful tip, storing gluten-free food in a separate cupboard. That particular cupboard will therefore be used purely for gluten-free ingredients and nothing else. You could even go a step further and install a mini freezer to store frozen gluten-free produce such as meat, fish and frozen veggies. Another little tip, try plenty of new foods. Gluten-free diets are now more heavily catered for than ever before, meaning that there are all kinds of delicious, weird and wonderful ingredients for you to try. You can now buy gluten-free pasta, gluten-free bread, gluten-free flour and much more besides. Now's a good time to get creative in the kitchen and try new things. This ensures that the lucky family members that get to eat the foods will have plenty of variety to choose from. When beginning any new journey, the first steps are always the most challenging. First thing to remember, gluten-free diets are not like any other diet. Going gluten-free is about changing your entire lifestyle. Granted, it's a big step, but if you do your research, take your time and follow our advice and guidance, it is more than possible. We're going to give you a few tips to help you begin making the transition over to a gluten-free diet and lifestyle. Do remember that it is okay to miss old favorites. A lot of people starting gluten-free diets often find themselves in denial. They quite often get asked that age-old question, "Don't you miss bread?" And they often reply with, "No, I thought I would, but I don't." Now, if that was a genuine answer, that's great. But if deep down you are craving bread and pasta and want nothing more than to eat them again, just remember that it's okay to grieve for them. It will be tough in the early stages, but as time goes by and you learn how to cope without them and what to use in their place, it will get much easier and you will feel much, much better. Just remember, do some research. That's the reason why we have made this useful video today, is to inform and educate, though there is always room to learn more. The more you know about your condition, the easier it will be to make the transition. Look online, speak to experts, read books, watch videos, join forums, ask questions, and find out as much about gluten, sensitivity, celiac disease as you possibly can. Speak to your friends and family. Another important step is to get in contact with friends and family members and to inform them of your condition and your new lifestyle. This is quite important because it will make life easier for family gatherings, parties, meals out, etc. They will know how to cater for you and will know how to purchase gluten-free ingredients. You could send them a link to useful guides, documents, videos, such as this one, to help them learn more about your condition and about what they can do to help you. Throw out temptations. Now, this might be hard to believe, but there are people out there with diagnosed gluten sensitivity issues that ignore doctors' advice and deliberately eat foods they are craving that contain gluten, despite knowing what it will do to them. Okay, eating that pizza may give them a few minutes of satisfaction, but when their stomachs are ballooned in size and they're doubled over in agony, suffering from all manners of digestive issues, suddenly they wish they hadn't even bothered. You will get cravings, and you may be tempted to throw caution to the wind and risk eating gluten. You can kid yourself, your condition has cured itself, or maybe you'll just get a bit of wind that passes in a few minutes. Our advice? Don't risk it. Before going shopping for your gluten-free ingredients, empty your cupboards and get rid of any foods containing gluten that you will likely be tempted by. As for other family members, maybe ask them to store foods out of sight, somewhere where you are unlikely to look if you are worried about breaking your diet. As you see, there are a number of reasons and benefits to starting a gluten-free lifestyle. While switching over completely will require a bit of transition process, in time you will find that the transformation you experience in your body and the health of your family was well worth the extra bit of effort. Since there are a number of products on the market that are readily found in any grocery store today, finding foods that are gluten-free is easier than ever before. All it takes to get the most out of a gluten-free lifestyle is a commitment to do so, a bit of a shift in your way of thinking, and the time needed to make the transition. Once you have established your new way of life, you will never again return to eating gluten-filled foods, as you will find you have more energy, more stamina, a clearer head, lower blood pressure, and even better overall nutrition. While you may encounter a bit of hesitation from your family, should you choose to turn your whole family gluten-free, do stick with it. One of the best ways to go about it is to make small, gradual changes that do not require too much from them all at once. You could start by switching to gluten-free pasta instead of the regular. Start baking gluten-free bread and buying gluten-free cereal. In time, you will find that not only will your family feel better, they will not even notice the changes and be well on their way to living a gluten-free lifestyle. Thank you for joining me in this new journey, and all the best with your gluten-free living. Hello, I'm Mike Hines from JustNoGluten.com. Now, I do hope you enjoyed today's video and you found it informative and helpful. If so, why not give it a like or subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video, which is called Wheat and Gluten, What's the Difference? So stay watching for that. I'll see you soon. Bye bye for now.